like to ask, once again, for everybody, like you talked about smoking kind of gave you anxiety, and it feels like that probably made it easier for, if I wanted to relax, I'll probably turn to alcohol. When did, I guess, the ability for it to become a tincture or a gummy or anything that you wanted to do, where it was like, all right, I'll try this way, and how did you kind of find your dose around what made you feel good?
Well, I will say when I decided to venture into trying it again, the first thing I did was secretly get my medical card. It still was very like she
taboo.
said, stigma, and that's a lot of what I'm doing is trying to get it. I mean, I come from the Midwest, which is still very stigmatized. And at the end of the day, we live in the Bible Belt, which can still have a lot of stigma around it. And so I just wanted to be very vocal about it. So if other women or other moms wanted to ask questions or didn't know what to Google or didn't know to go into a dispensary, they could have that. But when I decided to start trying, it was trial and error. It was you go on the licensed website and you pick out a couple products and you try it. And I tried some that were way too strong for me for the first time because I didn't know. And then the first time I actually found beverages was I was 3 months into my no alcohol journey. It was 4th of July. We were going to have a big pool party at our house. And I didn't want to be the only
something.
Yeah, I didn't want to be not drinking. I wasn't ready to tell everyone, hey, I'm full blown giving up alcohol and dive into that whole story. And that's really the first time I found the beverages. And I had one and could talk about it. And it just made that afternoon enjoyable. I was relaxed. I was able to socialize. And that's when I started trying more and more and was like, wow, the world needs to know about these different options. And until you see someone or someone similar to you or someone you feel safe talking to about it, you might just kind of keep that wall up that you'd been taught. So that's how I got into the exploration phase of my life.
Yeah, it took a vacation. It took a July 4th to be like, I'm not going to be the one here sober watching everybody go down. So I'm going to do something. But Delvin, for you, like, what was your kind of, I guess, I don't want to say the stigma, but whenever you hear about cannabis and how you're trying to be an advocate for it, what's your biggest selling point for it?
My biggest selling point is, just find what works for you, right? Like you said, they have a different amount of ways to consume. So find what works for you, right? Do your research, do your homework. That's what I always tell people. Everybody, oh, bro, you just smoking or you just consuming to be consuming. I'm like, no, I understand the milligrams. I understand the percentage. I understand everything that's being put in my body. So I put that on everybody. I make sure they understand that before they even consume or indulge. Go do your homework first. Get some knowledge before you just go consuming.
And this is for you, Sarah, because I feel like there is a little bit of confusion between the two, and you explained it a little bit, but what can people expect from if you've smoked marijuana, consumed marijuana versus Delta 9 or what the products that you have at Indigo that can go in, a million different ways. You have tinctures, you have the drink. So is there a different feeling that you should expect or something that would make people hesitant to try?
Well, for starters, I know there's a lot of confusion over Delta 9. What is Delta 9? So many times I'll find people in passing, not realizing what I do for a living, say, oh, that's the Delta. Oh, that's the Delta. Mm-hmm. And it's
the change you want to see in the world.
The Delta has this horrible stigma around it. And what a lot of people don't realize is that when you're talking about THC and you're talking about some of the main feelings that you're feeling off of regular marijuana, people that the intoxicating feel that they're feeling, that THC is Delta 9 THC. But to the average consumer, if I were to look at it and say, hey, yeah, the smoke that I'm usually used to feeling or the high that I'm used to feeling is Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol. They're all like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So we say THC. That's what people understand it as. So to kind of break that stigma of the Delta, when you go into the hemp world, we've had the beauty of science. So, once upon a time, you just knew that there was THC and CBD, and that was it. But through science, we've been able to break down both the marijuana plant and the hemp plant, look at all these different cannabinoids and say, okay, I know that Delta 8 helps a lot with body aches. It's good for physical feelings. It helps with insomnia, things like that. Delta 9 has been known to help with the mind. If you've got a little bit of anxiety or stress, it's a great way to kind of decompress with it. So a great way that I remember things is because you see a lot of Delta 8 and Delta 9. My way of kind of helping people remember is 8 to 9, body to mind. So you kind of go up. But yeah, Delta 9, really what that is
It's like a reformed food triangle.
A proper triangle one.
But yeah, that's what Delta 9 is. And so, you can do your research. You can go online. It's also what, a lot of medical marijuana does. A lot of what we do is we educate people on what those different cannabinoids do. But essentially, you're going to see a lot of those different cannabinoids being pointed out as what's in the product, because if you do your research and you see, okay, I want to have more of that relaxation effect, I'm going to look for something that's got Delta 9. Whereas CBD, if I'm looking for something that's a little bit more with inflammation or things like that. So essentially, it's just you've got all these cannabinoids there, and they all have different things that they do. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, I feel like that answered the question. It had to have.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I educated you more.
No, that was...
I do want to piggyback for a second, because as a consumer too, one of the things that I'm learning as I venture into this world is that everyone's endocannabinoid and their receptors are so different. Yeah. So what one terpene or strain or delta might do for you, it might not do that thing for my body whatsoever. And it's also like where you source your products, because yes, you're saying like Delta 9, but you don't know what other solvents are in that product with some of the brands. So you might have an adverse effect, but that might not be from the Delta 9. That's like, I get really sensitive to hibiscus, and I found out a product I use had hibiscus in it, was giving me migraines. So there's just so many different things that when you hear someone say, oh, that's Delta 9, it's like, that's the least of your worries. There's so much more you need to learn and research, like Delvin said.
Maybe not the gas station.
Well, yeah, and going off of that, too, is, it is an experimental process. So it's good to find brands like Indigo, that source really good products and really high quality. Now, let's say you're out kind of looking at products and things, and you're out of state and you don't see your Indigo product, but you're seeing another brand product and you're kind of like, okay, well, is this going to be a high quality product? Do your research. A lot of these companies, they should at least have QR codes on your product where you can scan that QR code. It takes you to their website, and there's a certificate of analysis. People should be testing their products. They should be checking for residual solvents. They should be testing
Especially
for pesticides, mold, all of this stuff. And accredited companies are going to be doing that. So look for those QR codes, look for those COAs, because there are companies doing it the right way. To go back on the, experimenting and trying different products, one really good thing about Indigo is we offer all kinds of products varying from all kinds of different potencies. We've got pouches that you stick in your mouth. We've got hot sauce. We've got syrup. We've got flour. We've got drinks. We've got all these different products that you can try. We've got gummies as well that have different absorption rates. But then also on top of that, you've got products that are just CBD or 8 milligrams THC all the way up to 138. And so it's kind of the reason why we have such high dose products. You do have people that have high tolerances, people that do need more of that product. And so we want to have that available for them. But the classic thing you'll hear in the THC world, the marijuana world, all these worlds is start low, go slow. Try a small amount, see how you feel. And I think drinks are a really good way to do that, because drinks they're water soluble. So the moment that they go into your mouth, they're hitting your saliva, your cheeks, your tongue, going down your throat, they're absorbing immediately. So if you're looking to kind of experiment with potency and see kind of where your tolerance is at, start with a beverage or something that has water soluble THC in it, so that within 15 minutes of drinking it, you're feeling those results and you can decide, oh, I want to hold off, or I want to push forward. So.
Yeah, especially with an edible, I think everybody's had that experience where I'm not feeling a thing, and then 45 minutes later, you've done it twice, you go,
Rolling on the floor.
I think I'm going to bake a cake.